UMG and TikTok can't come to payment terms for their UMG artists. Okay. Now, is this really about the app itself of TikTok or the forthcoming TikTok music? And if it is about the app, then how come they didn't do this with Facebook? Because if I recall, when they were going through their thing with Facebook, it was a little bit lighter. Could it be that Facebook is an American company versus an Asian company like TikTok? This will affect people who are signed to UMG as well as those who are not signed to UMG, which is why nobody likes the major labels in the first place. In my opinion, it will be a much better world if the major labels kept their hands out of the shareholders' positions. But I already know that this is going to be a tough one to crack. So let's hop into today's episode of the Music Money Makeover Show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Money Makeover Show. My name is Casey Graham. I already know you got tomatoes for me, so you can go ahead and throw them down in the comment section. Other than that, let's hop right in. All right, now here's why I feel artists could care less about TikTok paying them. The reason why is artists don't care about TikTok paying them is that they pay so little, to the point where it's laughable. Now, to be fair, no artist would turn down more money, and I wouldn't either. However, most artists are not naive enough to believe social media networks will pay them a rate equivalent to what Spotify pays. And they're not, and they never will. Okay, so I mean, the only network that's going to do that is going to be YouTube, but only on long form content. And why wouldn't they do this on short form content? Because it's so short, okay? It's so short, you're flicking through that screen so fast. Why would they give you the same amount of pay rate on a long form piece of content that they would on a short form? You get what I'm saying? You understand that? Now, to be fair, on YouTube, you can break up that music revenue on the long form content. Or like back in the day, they used to take it all, which is why a lot of creators on YouTube don't use music from major label artists for that reason. You get what I'm saying? Because the creators want their revenue. And I'm quite sure the music owners do too. But because of the way the deals are worked between the labels and the aggregate owners like DistroKid and TuneCore, it just doesn't make sense as a creator to use that music. And then so I'm assuming that most artists understand why. Now let's go a little bit deeper. Paid per view versus per usage revenue. TikTok only pays performance and mechanical royalties to songwriters and publishers currently on a per use case, and ad revenue to those with creators accounts or like who are in the TikTok ad program or whatever they got for creators on a per view basis. Okay. So the music is only on a per use. And then if you got a creator account where you actually get ad revenue, you get it on a per view basis. Either way, it's much lower than what we get paid from YouTube. And it's not worth the time to squabble because of my next point. Now, attention is the greatest asset. If there's one thing that artists value over money, it's attention. The savvy business-minded artist knows how to leverage it. And without music being available to go viral, this begins to make music creators very upset. Now, I'm surprised many UMG artists aren't speaking up about this. I've seen a few, but maybe it's in their contract that they can't go against the label in a negative light or manner or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they have some type of agreement together once you sign. I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comment section. But to be honest with you, most artists value the attention over the little bit of pennies they get paid from TikTok. And like I said, even if TikTok were to start paying on a per view basis for music, it still ain't gonna be a lot of money at the end of the day. So attention is the greatest asset. And if I was a UMG artist, I think I seen Money Long do it. She says some stuff about it. I would be upset at the fact that I can't create attention for my music that I'm ultimately getting paid for. And I may not be in a publishing deal with the major label. I may own my own publishing. So I need my music available so I can exploit it on TikTok. See what I'm saying? Now, TikTok music should balance this shortcoming. I believe TikTok music, this is their streaming platform that's not yet to be launched in the US, should balance this shortcoming because it is designed to allow creators to use music and users of the app to discover music and add it to playlists without having to leave the ByteDance system. For those of you all who don't know, ByteDance is, it was Rezo, but they shut that down. But it's TikTok music, CapCut, and TikTok, the app itself, plus some other small things. TikTok music also will have a community feature for artists, which puts way more control in the hands of the artists than maybe a label would like to see. But when they do balance this shortcoming, then what does that say about UMG and the amount of stock UMG will have in ByteDance versus how much stock they have in Spotify? This disrupts the entire music ecosystem. Now, everybody's got a problem. And we don't know yet if Sony Music and Warner Music has a hand in the stock options from ByteDance. We don't know. And I think ByteDance is a private company still, so I don't know. All right. Catalog versus collection. Many indie artists don't have huge catalogs like UMG. Matter of fact, no music group on the planet has a catalog as big as UMG, which is why nobody else but UMG and their constituents are throwing a fit. Warner Music and Sony reached their deal terms last year, so why does UMG have such a big problem? All right, majors are still sore, and this is my opinion. Majors are still sore. They don't own viable streaming services. Majors don't like the position they are in, coming in second to streaming services. They don't like having to negotiate deal terms and not owning the whole pie. But that was their downfall in the early 2000s, and that ship has sailed. You get what I'm saying? Now, the general public could care less. These are the people who are using the app. The general public is still going to edit videos with their favorite music in it, and if it doesn't work, they'll try something else. The general public could give a flip about UMG, and they're still going to do what they want and upload what they want. Even if it is UMG music, they're going to put the music underneath their edits and pop it on TikTok. And if the algorithm don't catch it, whatever. Get what I'm saying? Now, what about Facebook? They had their way, and they, meaning the labels, had their way with Facebook so much so that you cannot get mechanicals from Facebook unless you're signed with a big boy publisher or one that holds a big market share. And it's still not a lot of money that goes towards the little independent artists if you do sign. It's a giant income loop that you ain't a part of. Word to George Carlin. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Because Facebook can't afford to pay the royalties in the first place. So they reserved it for the bigger owners of market share. That's the truth. That's the honest truth. Okay. Now you do see Facebook royalties at like your BMIs and ASCAPs of the world, but that's about all. So you're not really going to see the mechanicals. Just is what it is. Now, should artists sign to UMG? I don't like major deals. However, if the deal brings the most value to you, go for it. I mean, I'm not going to stop you. I can't stop you. I'm not you. I'm not in your pockets, but that's my opinion on that. Now, will this affect the independents? I mentioned this. I hinted at this earlier. Yes and no. No in the short term. Yes in the long term. If UMG gets their way with the launch of TikTok music and they get a portion of stock in ByteDance, or in, the revenues of TikTok music, it will affect how much you get as an independent, just like it did with Spotify and all of the other players and other DSPs of the world. The labels always affect the independents when they begin sticking their hands in the pot and taking out extra money in addition to the money that they're going to pay their artists. It is what it is. Now, why did you make this episode? Because people like to hear opinions sometimes. And I thought I would give my full thoughts on this rather than just a post in the YouTube community like I did. But I got to tell you, if you're going to build your own label, I got you covered. Because if you are a producer, an artist, a do-it-yourself record label, a singer, a songwriter, or just a music exec who wants to build a record or publishing company in 60 days or less without searching all over the internet for the how-tos and broken links and all this stuff and getting red flags when you're setting everything up, I got you covered. We're going to do it in 60 days or less, and we're going to build a strong company foundation so that ultimately you can get some funding for your business. On top of that, I'm going to show you how to play this music game via contract. And on top of that, I'm going to show you how to collect your international and domestic record and publishing royalties without the middleman, like an AKA Song Trust collecting 15% out of your pocket. Okay. And we're going to do all of this inside of musicmoneymakeover.com. You can click the link right down below and get started today. All the stuff you see on the right-hand side is included within the course. Now, grab the free stuff below. This is your first time watching the channel. 10 major steps to increase your record label's profits. A free split sheet is included with the download. Okay. But to all my friends and clients in the universal system, I ain't throwing shade at y'all. Stick it out. They'll break soon. They will. We just don't know how this thing is going to look when TikTok music launches. But stick it out. They will break soon. And to all my friends and clients not in the universal system, keep it moving and screw them suckers. You know what I'm saying? All right, music money makers. So as you can clearly see, this affects everybody. And I just had to give my 2 cents on this before this thing gets swept under the rug and nobody's really talking about it. Okay, because this will come back up once the agreement is reached. All right. So music money makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com. Jump into the 60-day record label course right beneath this video. Grab the free stuff below. Book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com, and I'll see you next time. Peace.